I want to thank you guys for joining me here once again in the old dusty workshop. Really excited to start part 2 of making the Sanmai hunting knife. The core is peeking out a little bit, so I cannot wait to uncover more of that. I have the handle material and the guard all picked out. I cannot wait to get this finished. And if you are new to the channel, please like and subscribe. It really helps me to continue building awesome projects like this one. And then just before we get started, I just wanted to mention, before we get started, I just wanted to mention that I do have the Kickstarter going right now for my Precipice folding knife. It is an all-metal design, built as durably as possible. And you'll find the link to the Kickstarter for these down below. So, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys what I have planned for the guard and the handle. Alright, so for my guards, I actually use crowbar material. Crowbars are really inexpensive if you pick them up from like a garage sale or estate sale. You can get them for like 50 cents. And there's a whole lot of steel there. Now, it's not knife steel. It's equivalent to about 1040. So it's a medium carbon steel. Works real nice under the hammer. It's easy to file. And if I want to, like for my swords and stuff, I can actually forge out a guard and heat treat it so that it has memory. So if it gets hit on something, it doesn't bend and take a set. It will have some really good spring to it. So I just kind of by default use crowbar material for all of my guards that are, steel or iron. So for this one, that is exactly what I'm going to use. I have flattened out a little bit of the crowbar, so I'm going to chop that off. And for the handle of this knife, I am going to use some maple burl. I have dyed this piece so it has a lot of blue, and then it has this really nice natural maple burl color kind of in the middle. So I'm very excited to get that guard all fit up so I can see the handle on the blade. I'm going to go ahead and chop that piece off, and we're going to go ahead and get a handle on this knife. And that is good enough of a fit up for now. I will fine tune it once I have this all finished ground and hand sanded. So now I'm just going to do a little shaping on the guard, and then we'll get the handle set up. So I have the guard roughed in here. Now I'm going to take the handle block. I've traced where I want the handle to actually be. I'm going to line it up, and now I'm going to trace where the tang will bed into the handle. Right here you can see we're really close. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to grind the tang down just a little bit so that I can keep it a little more safe. So I did just adjust the end of the tang. It's still quite hot, but that'll keep us more safe and not risk breaking through right there. So I'm going to bring us over to the drill press, and we're going to get this handle block fit up to the tang. So the handle is all fit up. Now I'm just going to rough shape the handle. Then it will be time to finish the blade. We have the handle all fit up here. So now I'm going to thin out the handle material, square everything up, and then I'm going to get the blade finished. So the blade has been finished ground. It's ready for hand sanding. First, I'm going to do some sanding on the handle block. So I just have it cleaned up to 150 grit. I want to show you guys. That just looks incredible. I am very pleased with that. I actually dyed this maple myself. I will take it up to a much higher grit when it is in the final finishing stages, but for now that looks awesome. It's now time to etch. I'll leave that in there for about 15 minutes. Alright, we are done. You can see just a little bit of that jacket there. So I'm going to go ahead and clean it off, neutralize this acid, and then we'll have a nice peek at exactly how that looks. I have etched it. You can actually see the difference there. And now I'm actually going to hand sand this again at 600 grit, get everything cleaned up, and then I'm going to do an instant coffee bath, and that will darken the core but not the cladding. The blade has been fully degreased, and now I'm going to mix up some instant coffee mix. It's right here. Got some water boiling. I'm going to pour some boiling water in here, and then we will coffee etch this blade. There we go. I'm going to leave that in there for about a half hour. Now I will probably have to do another coffee etch. I'll have to reheat it up, do it again, just so I get the most even etch possible. But I'm really happy with that. So now I'm going to do the final fit up on the handles. I'm going to get the handles drilled so that I can fit the guard to the handle, finish them together so that when I glue them, I don't have to mess with finishing or refinishing any parts of the guard, because the guard is going to be a kind of a forged texture finish, and that's really hard to duplicate while leaving the guard on the knife. I have a nice little blue G10 spacer, just to kind of make everything really, really tight. So I'm going to go ahead and use the small wheel attachment to clean up the transition between the handle material and the guard. And then a little bit of cleanup here and there, and it will be ready for all the final finishing and gluing. Alright, so I have the guard here. I'm going to toss it in the forge, start it up, and give it a couple cycles to oxidize it. I have it all fit up here, and now the only thing left is to glue it. I'm going to do a little cleanup on the blade here and there, but that looks absolutely fantastic. Alright, and now I will clean up the transition here and let that cure. I am so pleased with how this San Mai hunting knife has turned out. It is absolutely beautiful. It feels great in the hand. I really love the burl handle, and I don't know why, but I just have a thing for that forge oxide finish on a guard. I just think it looks quite amazing. So I want to thank you for watching this video. That just looks absolutely fantastic. Looks incredible. And the burl is just really nice blue with some natural burl color in there. And there we go. It is totally finished, and I am so pleased with how that looks. The coffee etch turned out fantastic, and so I am very excited to do more Sanmai and Damascus that I utilize that coffee etch with. Really makes the finish just turn out fantastic. So I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. It really helps me to continue building the channel, and it really helps me to continue building awesome projects like this. So thank you guys one last time. You guys have a wonderful rest of your day. I'll catch you on the next episode of Let's Make a Knife.